G'day kids, welcome to another exciting episode of All Aussie Madness. Can I get an F5? Today we're visiting a really cool, totally humongous, massive vegetable. Do you like vegetables, kids? Maybe you said yes, or maybe you said no, but guess what? Vegetables are really good for you, an important part of your diet. So you need to eat them. Isn't that right, Brian? No comment. Oh, Brian. Anyway, kids, do you know what the totally cool, massive vegetable is we're visiting today? Have a think about it. Did you guess what the totally massive vegetable is that we're visiting today, kids? Did you say potato? If you did, you're right. It's a big potato. That's madness. Well, kids, are you excited to be visiting the really big potato today? You are? Me too. You know what though? I think... Wait, what's that, Brian? Can I smell the big potato? Why, Brian? Just smell it. Okay, fine. Smells fine, Brian. What's the problem? You think it looks like a big poo? Oh, gross, Brian. Don't be silly. It doesn't look like a big poo, does it, kids? No, it looks like a really big potato. Speaking of potatoes, kids, what's your favorite dish with potatoes? Did you say hot chips? Or maybe you said potato bake. My favorite dish is mashed potato with lots of butter. It's really yummy, tastes good. You know what? I think it's time for a, can you guess? Did you say a fun facts with Jarro? You did? You're right. It's time for a fun, what's that, Brian? You want to introduce the fun facts? Well, it's too late now, Brian. I've already done it. But last time I asked you, Brian, you said you didn't want to introduce it. Well, you know what? You can do it next time. Isn't that right, kids? Well, kids, today's fun fact is about, can you guess? Did you say potato? You did? You're right. Today's fun fact is about potatoes. And what we're going to talk about is that the first vegetable grown all the way up in space was a, can you guess? Did you say potato? If you did, you're right. Can I get an F5? The first vegetable grown all the way up in space was a potato. That's madness. Kids, in Australia, there's lots of different types of potatoes. Here's some here. How many potatoes can you see? Let's count them. 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4 potato. 4 different types of potatoes. What does a potato feel like? Does it smell? It doesn't smell. It feels firm and lumpy. Have you got potatoes in your pantry, kids? You do? That's great. Go and grab a potato and see what they feel like. This potato here hasn't been washed yet. But remember, kids, never try to eat a raw potato. Always get your parents to cook them. You can mash them, boil them, fry them, anything you want. Never eat a raw potato. Kids, do you know where potatoes grow? Would you say in the ground, from a bush, or on a tree? Did you say in the ground? If you did, you're right. Potatoes grow in the ground. What's that, Brian? You thought they grew on a tree? No, potatoes don't grow on a tree. Brian, kids, can you tell Brian where potatoes grow? In the ground. That's right, potatoes grow in the ground. And did you know that you can plant potatoes in your backyard, kids? Yeah, all you need is a potato seed, and then you just get a shovel, dig a hole, plant your potato seed, cover it over with some dirt and water it and watch it grow. And then you can enjoy some yummy potatoes. Tastes good. Well, kids, I think it's time for Brian and I to go and plant some of our own potatoes. Make sure that you get out in the garden and do it as well, maybe later on with your parents. Well, kids, thanks again for joining us on All Aussie Madness. Did you enjoy today's episode? You did? That's great. Do you remember our fun fact? That's right, it was about potatoes. And remember that potatoes were the first vegetable to be grown all the way up in space. Well, thanks again for joining us. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. See you next time on All Aussie Madness. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Kids, have you seen Brian? Brian, what are you doing? I told you it's not a real potato. Come on, Brian, let's go. Oh, Brian, you can't eat it. It's not a real potato. See you next time, kids. Come on, Brian.